Have your legs spread long and your arms down beside you. And for the moment, take your attention to your breath, the movement of breath. Where do you feel the movement of your breath? Notice whether you need support under your head or not. And while you're in the region of your head, please take your attention to your eyes. And think of the little round cups of bone that your eyes rest in, floating in liquid. And just make a very small movement of gliding your eyes to the left and back to the middle, slowly. And sliding both eyes to the right, slowly. Just notice the difference between those two directions. Which direction is more comfortable for you? And the movement of the eyes, for example, going to the right, is it a straight horizontal movement? Or at the end of the movement of the eyes, do they go slightly up at the end of the movement, or do they tilt downwards at the end? And then do that on the other side as well, and just compare the difference between those two directions. And then just rest your eyes, let them float quietly. Then the eyes can actually go forwards and backwards. It's a small movement, but just try it. Think about the eyes sinking deeper into their sockets. Pulling back into your head. Very small movement. And then, is there a way that you could take the eyes forwards to the front of your face? Is there one eye that can do that more easily? And then just let them float. And are you able to just gently close your right eye? Just, it's like a very gentle wink. Keep the eye closed, but close it even more. So you can feel the action of the sphincter, the round ring muscle that goes around the eye, contracting. And can you do one eye without the other eye joining? So for the moment, try it with the right eye. And then rest it. And again, the right eye. And when you close your right eye a bit more, does your eyebrow come with you? Or can you do the eye by itself? And leave it. Try the same thing with the left eye. Just close the left eye a little bit more than it is already closed. Are there other muscles in your face that join the movements of the eyes? Can you breathe while you do this? And can you go from one eye to the other? It's like winking with one eye, let it rest, then wink with the other eye. Can you go back and forth between one eye and the other? Okay, leave it. And now, drift your attention down to your buttocks. And can you contract your right buttock all by itself? Contract it, let it go. Slowly. Contract the right buttock again and let it go. So contract it slowly and release it slowly. And begin to feel what happens to the pelvis. Small movements are fine. Leave that and try the same movement with the left buttock. So if you were to compare the tonus between one buttock and the other, is one buttock feeling stronger, more muscly than the other? And what's the quality of the letting go? What is the movement like when you let go of the buttock? Is it a stuttery movement or a smooth movement? How can you make it smoother? Try the other side. Okay, leave it. So, to fit in with the conversation that we had this afternoon, can you contract your anus? Just a small contraction, as if you were stopping a fart. And then just let that go. And the next time you try this same contraction with the anus, is there some other part in your body that's responding to this action of the back half of your pelvic floor? So the sphincters all talk to each other. It's a system of ring muscles that open and close the eyes, the mouth, the anus, and the urethra in the front half of the pelvic floor. So leave the anus alone for the moment and contract both buttocks gently. And can you add the contraction of the anus? So you've got two buttocks and an anus contracting. Keep breathing. And now let go of everything. And now contract the left buttock and the anus and the left eye. Left buttock, anus, and the left eye. And release, slowly let go. Once again, begin to contract the left buttocks. I'm sorry, the left buttock, the left eye, and then add the anus. Can you do it in a way that doesn't interrupt your breathing? And let that go. Could you contract the buttocks, the anus first, and then add the right buttock? Anus first, right buttock, right eye. And slowly let all three of those places soften, let go, synchronize it so they can all work together. Now, you've been doing the bell hand for a while now. So bend your right elbow so that your hand just hangs from the wrist. Put your elbow on the floor. And begin to make a movement with your hand. Make the bell hand movement with the right hand. Your elbow's on the floor, resting on the floor. It's bent. The right elbow is bent. And the hand is hanging with a limp wrist. That's it. Begin the bell hand. Add the right buttock. Keep going with the hand. Add the right buttock, the anus, the right eye, everything together. The bell hand keeps opening and closing. Everything else is holding on. The buttock, the anus, and the eye. So you've got two tempos to take care of. The hand has its own tempo, and the buttock, the eye, and the anus have a separate one. The hand keeps going softly. Now, rest everything. Put your hand down and take a rest. So when you rest, you can rest on your side or you can roll on your belly. Make yourself comfortable. Or you can rest on your back. Notice the feelings that this leaves you with. You can't hear? Can we put the volume up? Because I've got the microphone quite close. I'll try that. Is that better? I think we need more volume. Is that better? Thumbs up? Not yet? Thanks, Jenny. So roll on your tummy and have your legs long and put your hands, palms down on your buttocks, somewhere near your sitting bones. Make yourself comfortable on your belly. Palms against the buttocks. Palms against the buttocks. That's it. Somewhere near the sitting bones. Feel your bones. And begin to contract the right buttock and feel it with your hands. Contract and release. And again, don't let this interfere with your breath. Can you contract one buttock without disturbing the other one? Palms against the buttocks. And then go to the other buttock, the left one. Which is stronger, the right or the left? And are you contracting the buttock muscles, the gluteus muscles? Or are you unconsciously adding muscles like the hamstrings or other muscles that might be interfering with the movement of the buttock? And then both buttocks together, and softly let them go. And both buttocks together. Notice if one is stronger than the other. Can you contract the anus in this position? Anus and buttocks together. Does that make you hold your breath? And let that go. Contract the left anus. The left. Those of you who are lucky enough to have two of them. Contract the left buttock and the anus in this prone position. Now you can use your hands on your buttocks or not. It's up to you. And let that go. Keep focusing on your breath as well. Don't let the movement of the buttock and the anus interfere with your breathing. Now, sometimes when you contract the back half of the pelvic floor, which is what you're doing, the front half of the pelvic floor responds whether you like it or not. So it's not unusual to feel that the vagina and the urethra, the testicles the scrotum could be responding as well. So when you feel that happening, just do a smaller movement and see if you can keep it to the anus. Again, both buttocks and the anus. Good. All right. That's good enough. Roll on your back and take a rest. And I recommend that you roll your head while you're resting on your back. And see whether your eyes come with you with the movement of your head or whether they stay behind. Do they lead the head or do they follow the head? And whilst observing your eyes, is there one eye that feels stronger than the other one? Nothing to do with the vision of the eye, but just the muscles of the eye. Does one feel stronger? Okay. Rest your eyes, rest your head. Bend your left elbow so that your hand is hanging in midair. Begin the bell hand with the left hand, very gently. And there might be an organic response from the left eye. At what point of the bell hand would the eye close? Would you wink when the fingers come towards each other? Or would you wink when the hand opens? See if you can find some kind of connection there. Is there some response in your mouth, in your tongue? And rest your hand and bring the other hand up. So rest your right elbow on the floor and begin the bell hand with the right hand. And just to change the pattern, can you close the left eye as you do the bell hand with the right hand? So it's like squashing the eye up on one side. And again, how do you coordinate the movement of the eye with the movement of the hand? Keep going. The eye, left eye and the right hand. And now add the left buttock at the same time. Contract the left buttock, the right hand, and the left eye. Very good, very good. Stop and rest. Ooh. Take your attention to your mouth, which also has a ring muscle around it so that you can open and close your mouth. And can you begin to close the left eye and open the right side of your mouth, as if you were blowing smoke out of your mouth sideways? So it's like you have a little gap halfway down your mouth. Add the right eye, the mouth and the eye, the right buttock, and the anus. How long can you keep your anus contracted while all of this is happening? All of these other coordinations. And breathing. All right, leave it. Leave it alone. Returning to the lips, open the other half. I think I said the right half the first time. So open the left half of your mouth, as if you were blowing smoke out through your mouth. And then switch to the other side. One half of the mouth and then the other half of the mouth closes and opens. Can you coordinate this movement of your mouth with your eyes so that you wink with the eye that corresponds to the mouth that's closing, to the half of the mouth that's closing? Change to the other side, the other eye. And can you go faster without losing your sense of what you're doing? Just go a bit faster. One eye and the half. And can you really let the smoke out through one half of your mouth without your cheeks getting involved? How fast can you go and not lose control of the movement or your breathing? Stop and rest. Stop and rest. It does look very funny, I have to say. Okay. So let's scramble the brain a little bit more. Bend your knees, stand your feet. Both hands are now suspended with your elbows on the floor. And you're going to have both bell hands working. So first of all, coordinate the hands. Bringing the fingers together with the thumb, like a beautiful underwater creature. And actually, we started off as sphincters in the ocean, little tubes floating around in the sea, water in one end and spurted out the other end. Add the movements of your eyes to the movements of your hands, so that when the fingers come together, your eyes will close a little more. As they open, your eyes relax. And now to the tongue. As your fingers come together in a bell hand, let your tongue slide backwards towards the back of your throat. Just let it gently widen as you pull the tongue backwards. As the fingers come together, the eyes close, the tongue slides back. As your hands open, the eyes relax, and your tongue begins to just pour over the lower lip, very gently, like milk coming to the boil, and just starting to go over the edge of the saucepan. So your tongue, your eyes, and your bell hands are all working together. I can see eyes that are not actually closing. You want to just close your eyes a little bit more. All right, stop and rest. You're doing well. No one's biting their tongue yet. Returning briefly now to the buttocks with your legs long. Go back to contracting the right buttock, the anus, and the right eye. And see if these movements are becoming easier to do, easier to coordinate. And then let that go and shift to the left side, left buttock, anus, left eye. And leave it. So notice what kind of a mood this puts you into, this kind of work. And roll on your right side. Support your head however you like, with towels, or lie on your arm. Bend your knees. And have your left arm in front of you for support. One knee on top of the other. So how is it to contract the buttocks in this position? Is it possible? Can you contract the left buttock like this? And the right one? If you want to put your hands there, that's helpful. Is it easy to contract the right buttock, the one you're lying on, or the left one? Can you contract your anus in this position? And does contracting the anus invite the pelvis to move forwards or backwards? Does it evoke a flexion or an extension in the pelvis, contracting the anus? Okay, just rest for a minute. And in this position, contract your left eye and your left buttock. Change to the other side. Contract the right buttock and the right eye. And can you flip left and right with the buttocks and the eyes? So the buttock and the eye that match each other, left and left, and the right buttock and the right eye. Yes. Can you contract the left eye and the left buttock, and then quickly switch to the other side? The other eye and the other buttock. I can see mouths moving, grimaces, frowns. Do less, do less, do less. Make it smaller. Okay, leave it. And begin to move your pelvis backwards as if you wanted to expose your anus. If you were a squirrel and had a big tail, you'd be taking your tail backwards and up towards the back of your head. And you can do that by pushing your belly forwards and think of taking your anus backwards. Just a few movements. So let the pelvis rest and shift to your head, the back of your head. Take it backwards a tiny little bit. So you're taking your chin away from your chest, and you take the back of your head backwards. You shorten the back of your neck. You lengthen the front of your neck. Your sternum lifts as your head goes backwards. And now take the anus backwards and the head backwards at the same time. Leave it alone and rest on your back again. So if you wanted to include pelvic floor awareness in any of your classes, it's much easier for people to respond with the anus. Most people understand that movement much more than working with the sphincters in the front half of the pelvic floor. All right, with your legs long again, bend your elbows, have your hands resting with limp wrists. Begin to take your tongue backwards, so your lips will be open when you do this. And it thickens while you draw it backwards. And now add the movement of the bell hands closing as you take your tongue backwards. As you open your hands, allow your tongue to slowly slide forwards, just beginning to spill over the lower lips. So your mouth will be open. Opening and closing, tongue and the hands. Add the eyes, tongue, hands, eyes. Slow down. Where would your head go as you take the tongue forward out of your mouth? What happens to the position of your head, to the shape of your neck? Is there a corresponding movement that you can find in your neck as your tongue comes out of your head, out of your mouth? I'm getting all mixed up now myself. Oh, God. All right, are you going crazy yet? Yes? So what happens to your feet? What kind of a movement could your toes make as you do the bell hand? When would your toes extend downwards, like a ballerina, and when would they go upwards towards your pelvis? That's great. Don't forget to close the hands. I know it's a lot to think about. So let's add the breath now. When would you inhale? When the hands open or when the hands close? What feels congruent? Time it with the breath. Good. Good enough. Please rest. Rest and feel. How are you doing? And go back to your eyes and that idea of sinking the eyes deeper into your head. As if the muscles behind your eyes could pull them backwards towards the back of your skull. And then can you let them float slowly forwards towards the front of your face? Is that easier now? So slowly, slowly roll to the side, come up to sitting, and take all the time that you need to come up to standing. And just stay internal for a while with your sensations as you come up to standing. Give yourself time to feel how you stack up over your feet now. What is it that feels influenced by what you just did? And open your eyes and just see if your peripheral vision is different. Is your head sitting over your spine differently? How are you breathing? And walk around. I have to say something. So who would this kind of ATM be good for? What kind of client?